were up late last night, had to double check on X or whatever platform we're on to make sure we weren't getting scammed when word came out that Luka Doncic was being traded.
With the keys to the game. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Old. I'm ready to play football. I've been waiting a long time for this moment.
Time is here! The time is now! This is the countdown to kickoff on ESPN Radio.
Countdown to kickoff here on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's not even just that Luka Doncic gets traded. It's the fact that, yes, it goes to the Lakers, which does lead to what I believe is going to be a lot of conspiracy theory. Just around, like, what exactly led up to this trade. Because the reporting thus far tells us that the Dallas Mavericks, without ever being challenged by Luka, right, or being approached by Luka saying, hey, I don't want to be here after these next 2 years, or I am demanding a trade, which would have kind of kicked off this life cycle we've seen so many times with NBA superstars. That's not what happened. Like, he didn't approach the Mavericks. He was completely taken by surprise. The Mavericks, on their own, decided that in year 25, right, a 25-year-old superstar who's probably, a top 3 player in the NBA, they approached the Los Angeles Lakers of the Western Conference, and they said, hey, do you want Luka Doncic? And then, under the dark of night, if you're to believe the reporting, which to this point I do because everybody was so caught off guard, LeBron James didn't even know that AD was going to be traded, right? And then you start to get into a whole lot of other...
Wait, really?
That's what the reporting said last night, was that LeBron was out to dinner with his family after an impressive Lakers win and was told of the trade and was reportedly processing it because he was unaware that this was taking place. And so LeBron James is caught by surprise. Luka Doncic is caught by surprise. And if we are to believe, again, the reporting, the Mavericks approached one team, and said, hey, we've got a top 5 untradeable asset that we're willing to trade, and we're not going to shop him around for the best possible package. We're going to trade him for 31-year-old Anthony Davis and 1 first-round pick. Mikal Bridges just got traded for 5 first-round picks. A 34-year-old Kevin Durant years ago got traded for Bridges, Cam Johnson, and 4 first-round picks. And the Dallas Mavericks decided it was worthwhile to go ahead and have one team that they're willing to trade to, and it was the Lakers for Anthony Davis and 1 first-round pick. It was incredibly shocking, and I can't wait to see what is about to come out between what was happening with Luka and the Dallas Mavericks, because there has to be more to this. Do we have Craig on the line now?
Yeah, we do have Craig on the line.
Oh, yeah. I think Max Christie is also part of this deal. So let's not completely throw out Max Christie here. He had an impressive performance last night against the Knicks as a 3-and-D player.
Sure, but I mean, if you have AD and Kyrie, you're trying to win right now. I don't know if Max Christie is going to get you over the Oklahoma City Thunder hump.
It's exactly what you need against a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder, because everyone in the league is looking for someone who can cover someone like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, someone who is 6'5", 6'6", is athletic. So I think this is the Mavericks saying, we don't want to get held hostage by Luka. We don't feel like he's in shape enough. And we're going to make this trade. And then it's saying, we want to make this trade for someone who's going to give us a chance to win a title this year. And their title odds went down after the deal, but I think they look at it as, hey, Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving are 2 veteran players. They have Klay Thompson. They have a veteran team in general. Lively is out for the rest of this season. I don't know if he could come back for the playoffs. Can't comment on that at all. But I think they look at this as, hey, we believe in Kyrie Irving, and this gives us a chance to contend for a championship this year.
So you're saying, all right, I will give you all that, right? I will give you that, intellectually. Why not
and
go
Jason
ahead?
Jason Kidd, who we know well, Jason Kidd, we know, won a championship with Anthony Davis with the Lakers. He was an assistant coach in the bubble with them in 2020. So I think knowing nothing, that Jason Kidd believed that he can win a championship and has a chance to win a championship with this team with Anthony Davis.
But you are willingly giving up a decade, right? 10 years of a top 3 player in the world right now. Can we, so you're trading that out to try to win now. And the deal-making philosophy was we're going to target one team and we're going to hone in on one team without creating any actual leverage to be able to get more value out of the trade.
Instead of building a market for Luka, they decided to just make this trade. They didn't even get an additional Lakers first-round pick that the Lakers had. They didn't, necessarily get Austin Reeves, right, who some people would have thought was more valuable than Max Christie, and that could be argued on LA sports radio or Dallas sports radio. Our listeners don't care too much about the Austin Reeves versus Max Christie of this deal. But I think what this came down to is a team, and Tim McMahon, who covers this team really closely for ESPN, ultimately reported that they did not want to be held hostage by Luka Doncic's health for the next 10 years. And they were going to have to sign him to a super max. That was $350 million contract for 5 years and was going to shape the organization. And they decided they didn't want to shape their $5 billion business or whatever it is on a guy who, again, according to Tim McMahon, the availability of Luka was going to be a question. So that seemingly was the decision.
Do you feel, Craig, like this is Sunday Karma reacting to the overnight trade in the NBA that sees superstar for superstar, such a rare trade in today's day and age, with Luka Doncic joining LeBron James and becoming the new face of the Los Angeles Lakers for what's expected to be a decade or so? Anthony Davis going to the Dallas Mavericks along with Max Christie, we won't forget to mention him again, and a 2029 Lakers first-round pick. Do you think that Dallas got the maximum return they could have gotten for Luka in the deal that was done last night?
I don't see how you can say that, right? I don't see that at all. I could say that they got the minimum drama you could get when trading a player of this caliber. So I don't know what their motivation was in terms of maxing out return on the trade versus minimizing drama around their organization. So if their goal was to minimize drama around their organization, I don't know if I've ever seen a deal done of a player of this caliber in any sport with no drama around the organization. So if that was their goal, I think they got an A+ on this deal. If you're talking about maximizing their return, I don't think you could say the same.
Yeah, it's a really rare thing, and maybe Dallas is, seeing a Western Conference right now.
And by the way, you're saying rare, but it's never happened in the history of the NBA where two All-NBA guys get traded for each other. It doesn't happen in the NBA where the guy who's the favorite to win the MVP coming into this year gets traded midseason. It doesn't happen where a guy who leads his team to the NBA Finals last year and is 25 years old gets traded. So what you're saying is all accurate. This is historic. This is stunning. This is shocking. This never, ever, ever happens. And then for you to join Luka with LeBron James, and the idea that, as you were talking about, that LeBron had no idea that he was eating dinner in New York after his 10th triple-double of the season and beating the Knicks last night, that is what's been reported. I'd have to believe that a Lakers team that drafted LeBron's son would have to have some idea when LeBron is represented by the same representation, which is a company he owns, that represents Anthony Davis, that he needed some level of, of plausible deniability, let's call it, but that he had to have some knowledge that this was going to happen.
I don't know, because I feel like if he has some knowledge this is going to happen, like the more people who know, the more likely it is to get out. And that's one of the surprising parts about this is that there was no part of this trade that NBA
I guess what I'm saying, that either Rich Paul or somebody associated with LeBron, and it's tricky, right? Because Rich Paul is Anthony Davis's agent.
Yep.
So they had to know that LeBron was cool with it in some way. And we know how LeBron has spoken about Luka, not just in recent years, but since the day Luka came into this league, about his belief in Luka as a long-term piece. And for the Lakers, who have had, the stars, right? Like, you can go, I mean, I don't need to go back, right, to go into like the 60s and 70s.
I mean, it was Wilt,
right?
It was Magic.
Elgin Baylor. I'm saying Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. You put Wilt Chamberlain on that team with them. Then you have, you have Magic, and Kareem. And then, all of a sudden you have, Kobe, and you put Shaq with Kobe. And then you bring in LeBron, and you bring in AD with him.
You even skipped over Paul Gasol, who a lot of teams said would have given up more to get Paul Gasol than what the Lakers did at the time.
Which led to the last two Kobe's 5 championships. And he was an all-NBA guy, I guess, at his peak. So, yeah, you could put him in there. But I'm talking about, like, top 5 in the NBA guys, right? Like, I don't think we'd say Pau Gasol was a top 5 player in the NBA. Every other name that I said there, the argument is not that hard to say that they were a top 5 NBA player. I mean, LeBron, someone might argue that by the time he was on the Lakers, he wasn't, but I don't think it's a really good argument when you look at not just the numbers that he put up, but the fact that he led them to a championship, which, I know Anthony Davis was a big part of that, but I mean, these are top 5, top 10 elite type players. And Anthony Davis has still been that level of a contributor this year. I mean, he has been a way bigger factor for this Lakers team this year than LeBron James, if you look at the on-court versus off-court numbers for this team this year. So for them to make that trade is a major, major move for them, but it's a no-brainer, right? I mean, you'd have to believe that's a no-brainer if you can trade for a 25-year-old Luka Doncic.
It just does not happen, as you mentioned before, especially like every team in the NBA wants these guys in those moments. The Lukas at that age, who is an MVP candidate, to be able to hang on to for a decade plus.
I mean, there's 5 guys in the NBA, Greg, right now, right? So there's 5 guys in the NBA that I think people look at on another level than anyone else.
Jokic.
Those guys are Giannis.
Yep.
Let's start with Giannis. Those guys are Giannis,
Jokic,
Shea,
SGA,
Wemby. Those are the 5 guys. Wemby is not yet there as a player to where the other 4 are in terms of on-court contribution, but he may be the first draft pick of all 5 of those if you were putting those out for a draft right now. Those are the 5 players in the NBA. And the fact that one of them just got traded, and as you said, one of them got traded without even a consideration of what are the other 28 teams willing to offer. That's pretty stunning.
It was stunning, and in a weekend where there is no NFL, the NBA certainly stealing the headlines. We'll continue to talk about it here on Sunday Karma, 800-990-3776, 800-990-3776. We roll on next. Sunday Karma across ESPN Wisconsin.
You're listening to Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. With Wilde and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
Romeo. This 3-syllable, you have to take the O out of the equation. That's too easy.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Iota, right? Not one iota.
Iota. Yeah. That's only 4 letters.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
Let's pretend you're a first-time listener to Wilde and Tausch. What the hell is this? They're discussing syllables.
On 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
It's the perfect Valentine's heart.
The kind a schoolboy would draw.
It's the most adorable pendant we've ever created.
Innocent, fun-loving, and sweeter than honey.
Cute, cute, cute.
It's cherry red ceramic that's been through the fire.
We've been making ceramic jewelry for thousands of years.
Seriously?
Google it.
But this ceramic heart has things they didn't know about thousands of years ago.
Like what?
Diamonds. 18 of them.
These created diamonds were made for the one who sparkles like the sun.
I can see her in my mind right now.
It's the perfect Valentine's gift.
And it's only $128 at Kessler's.
Monica, what else do we have?
We have 4 different ways to say I love you.
Each pendant is a different shape covered in diamonds.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
An oval.
A square with rounded corners.
A teardrop.
And a heart.
Your choice, just $148 at Kessler's. For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
Hey, Bucks fans, enjoy Michelob Ultra at Maddie's Bar and Grill, Papa Stash, Tavern on 6, Joe Cat's Pub, Camp Bar Wauwatosa, Maxwell's, Thirsty Buck, State Street Pizza, and Stenny's Lake Country. Michelob Ultra, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks.
It's what you wait for all week. The three-pointers, the rebounds, the thrill of every shot. Win or lose, it's the hope that keeps you coming back. The dream that this time, it might be your year. And so you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when the pressure's on, your support is everything. That's why the NBA Store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. The big game is almost here, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last football game of the season with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the big game. Prize Picks is also giving away a free pick for the big game, where one of the starting quarterbacks will only need to throw 1 yard to win. If you're correct on at least one more stat projection, you can win real cash. Check out the promos tab to tail any of our Super Sweat Millie winners big game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. Download the app today and use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
In season, off season, draft season. Whatever season it is, we are Milwaukee's place to talk green and gold. Listen, watch, or stream live whenever, wherever. 94.5 ESPN. Show podcasts, team-centric feeds, and listening live whenever, wherever. All of that in the palm of your hand. The Wisconsin On Demand app, available in the Apple or Android App Store. It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Continuing on Sunday Karma on the morning after not only the largest but most stunning trade in the history of the NBA, as the Dallas Mavericks trade Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis. This is a trade of 2 All-NBA players. This is a trade of a world champion in Anthony Davis. This is a trade of a guy who's going to win MVP awards in Luka, and a guy who is only 25 years old who becomes the next face of the Lakers franchise whenever LeBron James decides to retire. I don't know if this gives LeBron more years, but this is...
Luka don't want to play with LeBron like that. Let's be honest.
At this point, he does.
I mean, he might want that, but listen, Luka probably didn't want to play with Kyrie like that. LeBron's going to get upset that Luka shows up fat like Shaq. He's going to realize how Kobe felt. Luka come into training camp and Luka looked like he just had a six-pack of beer.
Well, but don't you think that's sort of what the Lakers are counting on? That putting Luka in their program and in their environment and around that Luka's sense of responsibility may kick in when he's thinking about a 40-year-old who will turn 41 during next season, LeBron James? I mean, I think that's got to be a piece of it.
He just made it to an NBA Finals, didn't he? If that didn't motivate him to come into shape to try to win a title, I don't know if LeBron James old behind. I like LeBron, but Luka don't care. He's just an old man.
I mean, not only that, but like, don't.
No, I mean, Luka has said LeBron is his idol. Luka has said, like, that's the guy who, like, inspired him as a kid to want to be great as a basketball player.
Yeah, he didn't follow every inspiration when it came to actually staying in shape. But Luka cold, though. I mean, I think it's a great move for the Lakers.
I mean, don't you feel like people generally get in their best shape after they're dumped, right? I mean, like, he just got dumped. Like, the Dallas Mavericks literally were like, we do not want you anymore. We're going to, in the dark of night, just move all of your stuff out of the house, put it on the front lawn, and you can go to L.A. and find somebody new. If that's not motivating for Luka to show them, hey, this is what you're missing now.
What type of trauma do you have? That was very descriptive.
I don't know what else is, you know? Like, I think that it's really going to be motivating for Luka, and it's going to give LeBron a break. Like, LeBron can't be the point guard for every possession at this point. Luka's going to be able to take some of that away from him. And obviously, we're talking a lot about what this means in the Western Conference.
Well, and by the way, there's also the thought of what this means for the Lakers defense, right? Because Anthony Davis, LeBron James, after the game last night, said, for us to do this job defensively without Anthony Davis, he covers for all of us. So we all had to step up because Anthony Davis is usually out there covering for all of us defensively.
Well, yeah, I mean, now you've got Austin Reeves, LeBron James, and Luka Doncic on the defensive end. But that's where I look at what this means in the Eastern Conference, because I don't know if the Lakers are done yet. Like, LeBron wants to win now, and you could argue that this roster isn't one to win now, because where does the rim protection come in? And if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, like, you knew that the Lakers were interested in a Brook Lopez deal when they were out there targeting Lopez or Valanciunas early in the year, right? In the fall. Now, all of a sudden, without AD, you have to wonder if the Lakers come calling for somebody like a Brook Lopez, who is a great rim protector, who does speak to a win-now mentality. Because, yes, I think if you're the Lakers, no matter if this is win now or win later, if you get a chance to get a 25-year-old Luka Doncic on your roster, you're going to make that move. But then you also have the other side of it where LeBron does want to win right now, and you have somebody who just put up his 10th triple-double in a magnificent performance against the Knicks, where the Lakers are going to be in the market for a rim protector, and the Bucks are also in a win-now mode, certainly to be able to try to get back to a championship for Giannis, for Dame. Do we think that this means that Brook Lopez's name is going to be out there again when it comes back to the Lakers looking for a rim protector?
Kyle?
Yeah, well, I mean, what I think about it is if the Bucks move on from Brook Lopez or are able to get things from him, that's cool. But then we find ourselves in a hole because I feel like right now the Bucks don't have anybody behind Brook Lopez. With Bobby Portis being out when he was out, who was really backup center for the Milwaukee Bucks?
Yeah, I mean,
Giannis moved to the fight. Like for real, if you can't sit here and move on from Brook Lopez without having an answer to replace Brook Lopez, and on this roster, the Bucks have not shown that they have an answer to replace Brook Lopez. So how much it would be nice to get something for a 36-year-old person who's playing way too many minutes, whose back is probably going to go out at some point. Yeah, it'd be great to move on from him, but you can't move on from it. And then all of a sudden you say, okay, well, who's going to play the 5 for us?
And Brook Lopez, I mean, let's just pay Brook Lopez some respect. I mean, the guy just played 41 minutes against the Clippers the other night. And Kyle, you mentioned Bobby Portis has been out. Brook Lopez has been playing a lot of minutes for this team right now. So Brook Lopez isn't some like 36-year-old guy who's just like hanging on. Brook Lopez is a guy who, you know, is a is part of this team's big four, but also has had to even play even more minutes as a result of Bobby being out recently.
Which is not good. Not good for a 36-year-old, because if you want him to be ready and healthy to go in the playoffs, eventually this wear and tear is going to wear on him. So it's not great that we have a 36-year-old playing minutes like he's LeBron.
I mean, he played 35 at home against Miami, 41 at Clippers, 35 at Utah, 35 at Portland, before being limited to only 24 minutes in that blowout loss against the Spurs.
He's incredibly valuable to the Bucks. Like, I don't think it's something you look at ultimately trying to move on from, but it is also an opportunity because the Bucks are obviously restricted in terms of what they can do to change and maneuver and improve and alter this roster. Now, if you have a team like the Lakers who's going to be that much more motivated, you could work out multiple team deals to be able to try to create a reality that the Bucks want to create. And with them giving up Drew Holiday, before the beginning of last season, they told the league, we're not trying to keep this championship core together here to the end of their lifespan. We are willing to make moves unemotionally to make this team as good as possible every single year to give ourselves the best chance to win a championship. And John Horst is somebody that's willing to deal. So I'm not saying they're looking to move Brook Lopez.
But if you do move Brook Lopez, does that mean you're not punting on this year, but you're basically saying, because you don't have somebody to replace him, so unless you trade for somebody else, you're basically saying we're going to try our best this year, but we feel like moving on from Brook Lopez.
I can't say the name, right? But I'm at ESPN Chicago right now, and if there was a...
Does it rhyme with Max Savine?
If there was a 3 or 4 team trade that you could say the name, I can't say the name. If there was a 3 or 4 team trade that brought back the person that you just said the rhyming word with, I mean, that I would imagine would be something the Bucks would have to entertain.
The Bucks would 100% entertain something like that. 100%. But the problem,
one of you say the name, just so
Zach LaVine. Yes, I mean the Bucks have been tied to him.
Be involved in any conversation.
The Bucks have been tied to him very closely, with a lot of rumors tying those two together.
Well, but at that point, you still don't bring back rim protection, right? Like, do you say forget we're just going to outscore people? Like, I love if they were to bring in a Zach LaVine type guy, much more than I would love a Bradley Beal type guy. I would love Zach, but overall, it still doesn't solve the issue where you don't have a big man. So, again, would that be you're going to give it everything you have, but you still got to play defense. I guess Giannis does play the 5 then. You got to have that conversation where Giannis is going up against big guys.
Giannis on Karl Anthony Towns.
You have no choice but to do something like that.
Giannis against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have 2 centers, right, with Mobley and Jared Allen. I mean, that's some very interesting matchups in the Eastern Conference.
Does Zach LaVine play good defense, Scalzo?
I will say that in the Olympics, we saw a different version of him than we've ever seen him in the NBA.
He has
answer that now, Greg.
He has the athleticism to do so, and yes, I think that when you enter, if he were to enter a team where he is clearly the number 3 or number 4, if you're going to kind of grant Chris Middleton, grandfather him in that top 3.
You think we keep Chris?
I mean, potentially, yeah. I mean, but again, like, if you get a Zach LaVine, then it also opens up the door to do other things. Like, I'm not saying that it's all, and what we just learned in the NBA is that there's probably trade opportunities out there that we don't even realize exist
100%,
at this point.
Because nobody went to bed or tried to go to bed, or nobody woke up yesterday morning thinking that Luka Doncic was going to be on the move to the Lakers, and that Anthony Davis, who was just, obviously, he loved being an L.A. Laker. It seemed like he wasn't trying to leave. He was talking about how can we build this team up, that he would be traded. I literally saw the message come through, and I said, this can't be real. So anything can happen at any moment.
Anything can happen at any moment, and the Bucks,
The only thing we know is going to happen is that Jason Wilde's going to join us, right? Or is he coming on next hour today?
No, Jason Wilde is at 10:30 today. He's good to join us.
So Jason Wilde will join us like 1 minute ago. So, We will jump in with Jason Wilde, get his thoughts on this. We have our 7 at 11. And for those of you who think the new version of this show is awful, then just join the crowd. But you will be part of the new 7 at 11, where Kyle and Scals will try to figure out who our mystery guest is at 11 o'clock. And We got to make sure like that person's name doesn't show up on the phone, so Kyle, when he answers the phone, doesn't see it, because then he'd have to eliminate himself. We have our mystery guest coming up at 11 o'clock. This is going to be big, big stuff. So let's get to Wildy, and then we'll get to our mystery guest at 11. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, protection and income are the keys to success. Simply put, if you're nearing or in retirement, you can't afford a stock market crash. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game film was a key to success. Now I'm a best-selling author and star in a new groundbreaking documentary film called The Retirement Deception. It unveils how the Wall Street machine has been deceiving us for decades and proves you don't need to risk your nest egg in the market to have the retirement you deserve. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. I want you to watch this film for free. Call today for your free copy of The Retirement Deception. I think you would agree 30 to 40 years of saving for retirement is at least worth a phone call to watch this film and see how you can improve your retirement. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free copy of The Retirement Deception. Call 855-620-1801. That's 855-620-1801. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. Zero sugar, zero carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
For more than 40 years, Network Health has been the trusted experts in health plans. Just like you, they're honest, hardworking, and grateful to call Wisconsin home. Whether you're seeking coverage for yourself, your family, or your employees, Network Health has you covered with a range of options, including individual and family marketplace plans, employer plans, and Medicare Advantage plans. Call Steve Llewellyn, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. The Saganiac Planning Marquette Basketball Greatest Scorers. Marcus Howard has all the records at Marquette, and his greatness might also be best explained by saying he passed George Thompson. Thompson's 1,773 points when finishing in 1969. It was the Marquette career mark until 2009, 40 years later. And with Marcus Howard, Thompson the only player averaging over 20 points per game for a career. George Thompson, not number one, but he belongs in the same room with Marcus Howard.
Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is hosting another Scramble tournament with $1,000 in cash prizes available. Hey, ESPN Milwaukee, this is Gary Ellerson, and Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center invites you to play in a two-man scramble at TPC Scottsdale, all from their comfortable golf simulators. Grab a friend and sign up today at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com. The tournament costs $120 per pairing and is happening now through February 28th. Your winter chance to play TPC Scottsdale awaits. WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Kevin Moret from Mentality. Every day is a silent competition, and with testosterone dropping 1% annually, you're fighting an uphill battle. Your colleagues notice when you lose your edge, your partner senses when your confidence wavers, and without addressing low T, you're set up to fail. No willpower can overcome this hormonal deficit. Mentality's FDA-approved treatments have shown a 30% increase in testosterone levels. Don't let low T define you. Reclaim your power at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
Start the day with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
When you're paid like an A player, you have to play like an A player, not a B player, and he has never played like an A player.
On 94.5 ESPN, streaming on the Wisconsin On Demand app and on video at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Got me hot.
This is Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
No one better to talk about than the biggest trade in NBA history and the most stunning trade in NBA history than Wilde and Tausch host Jason Wilde. Good morning, Jason.
You know I'm an NBA guy. I'm all over this.
I mean, compare this to the shock you had, because you have called the Ray Allen trade the most stunning trade for you in NBA history. So how would you rank this alongside that trade for you?
Well, we'll see who ends up being the team that's the smartest in this trade, because the Bucks certainly weren't on the Ray Allen trade. So I'll tell you this. I'm in a volleyball tournament, and it is what all the dads are talking about. I thought Adam Schefter put this in great, NFL terms. It's basically like the Ravens and the Bills swapped Josh Allen for Lamar Jackson. I'm not sure it's quite that, but it's right in that neighborhood. So I saw that last night, and I don't know if you do this still on social media, but I thought it was like one of those parody accounts that was trying to trick me into falling for something dumb and then retweeting it. But it's true, and it's remarkable. It is. You do not see this in any sport very often, but especially not the NBA.
What is the most shocking NFL news that you remember having to check and verify to make sure that it was real when you saw it come across? Because it was so unexpected in as many ways as this was unexpected.
That's a really good question, Greg. I don't know if there's been a ton of things that have shocked me, at least from a Packers perspective.
Was there anything in the Favre twists and turns where you're like, no, there's no chance that's happening now?
Well, no, just because, if you guys remember that time, which was quite the tumultuous time, but he went on Letterman and said, you might get that itch. So you knew he was already thinking that way, and then, we started to talk to some people as reporters that were indicating that, yeah, he's definitely mulling and trying to figure out if he can get himself to Minnesota and all those other things. The fact that he chose to show up the day of family night and create the ruckus that he did, that was surreal. I don't know if it was stunning, but
what about the Packers drafting a quarterback? Either of the two times they drafted a quarterback. I mean, those were not. Was the Rodgers one? The thought was they could draft a quarterback, but not that high. But I don't think any of us saw a first-round draft quarterback when Jordan Love was selected.
Well, actually, they scouted Love, and there was some rumblings of that. Remember, that was also when we were in the midst of COVID. And when it came out, I don't know, maybe a week before the draft, 10 days before the draft, that they had done a virtual interview with Love, when obviously you don't have many of those during that time, and they used one on him, I started thinking, oh my God, this could really happen. I remember writing a story about it. And from the Rodgers perspective, as he continued to tumble down the draft board, I just remember sitting in the auditorium at Lambeau thinking, oh my God, I want him to get here. I want to see if they actually are willing to make the pick. And there he still was sitting at 24, and they did it. So, yeah, that one, I think I would actually say that Rodgers is more stunning than Love, also because I knew that Goody was not a big Aaron Rodgers fan already, so I knew he'd be thinking about wanting somebody else. And the previous year, when they picked at 12, when they picked Rashawn Gary, they were ready to pick Drew Lock, which, if you're disappointed with Rashawn Gary, I'd be curious how you'd be feeling today as a Packers fan had Drew Lock been the pick.
Chatting with Jason Wilde as we somehow weave the trade of Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers into Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers discussion, as only we can with Jason on a Sunday morning.
I appreciate you guys catering to my knowledge base, though. We started in an area where I'm not super comfortable, and you got me right into my comfort zone.
Yeah, I want to ask you real quick off topic. I was listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this week, and they played a Xavier McKinney quote from Up and Adams, I believe it was, talking about how Quay Walker is going to be the breakout talent of the Green Bay Packers. Is that something that you would expect, covering this team as closely as you have? Because that isn't a name that we've been hearing about for the last, half of the season in that manner.
Well, that was because he hurt his ankle in Seattle. He was playing the best I've ever seen him play in the games leading up to that Seattle game. And in fact, I remember talking to now Jacksonville Jaguars defensive coordinator, then Packers linebackers coach Anthony Campanile about him. And it was kind of also the moment where I appreciated Campanile's coaching style, because he was really upfront and honest about how, in a lot of ways, it was detrimental to Quay's development that he was so hard on himself. And I thought, all right, here's a guy that Packers fans get very frustrated with and are critical of, and rightfully so, right? He got kicked out of 2 games as a rookie. He was not tilting the field in their favor, making a lot of plays, making a lot more mistakes than he was making plays. And then, I spent some time with Quay, and I realized that for as strongly as Packers fans felt about him not being good enough, Quay felt Quay wasn't good enough. And he was finally starting to kind of hit his stride. There's a really good system for him. He doesn't have to think as much. That's his words, not mine. He can just react and go. And he was really coming on, if you guys remember those few games before the Seattle game. And so the fact that I saw that too, I can't remember who was doing the interview. Kay Adams is only apparently interviewing Devontae Adams, no relation these days, because every clip I see from them is Devontae this, Devontae that. But I think Xavier McKinney is just saying what a lot of people are thinking, and that is that this guy's finally headed in the right direction. He's finally in the right system. And I'll tell you this, somebody asked Goody about him and Devontae Wyatt getting the 5th-year option, and I don't think there's any doubt that both of them are going to get it based on Gutekunst's response that day. I mean, he made it sound like they are all in on those 2 guys, and Quay rightfully so. Wyatt started strong, then had an ankle injury. If he's able to come back from that and play well, then they might have 2 guys that turn out to be much better than they thought they were during their first 2.5 seasons.
But that means then, even though the Packers, I know you've talked about all week that they lose their linebackers coach, and you think that's a really big deal. But that means in Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker, I mean, you're saying they could have 2 star linebackers for a bunch of years to come there.
Yes, like Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, or the tandem in Tampa Bay for years, or, I mean, this is a little bit older school, but Lance Briggs and Brian Urlacher. Now those are really high standards, and those guys are nowhere near that now. But that is where the ceiling is. And I think you saw from Edgerrin Cooper, and this is one of the reasons why I said what I did about Anthony Campanile. Edgerrin Cooper played in that very first game in Brazil, and he had a fantastic play where he had a tackle for loss. And you were like, ooh, okay, I'm intrigued by that. And then a few plays later, he lined up in the wrong place, and you can see all of his teammates yelling and screaming at him, telling him he's in the wrong place. He doesn't recognize that, and Saquon Barkley runs right through where he's supposed to be for a touchdown. And the reason I give Campanile so much credit and think he's so important is because he gradually brought out more and more of Cooper's talent while mitigating the mistakes he was making. And as you saw by the end of the season, he was on the field almost full time. So, again, I'm not saying that they have to forfeit the season because Campanile's no longer on the staff, but those 2 players flourished with him as their position coach, and now they've faced a little bit of adversity of continuing that growth that was on a vertical slant with the new position coach.
Staying with the Packers defense, but pushing it to the defensive backfield, I think the Packers and Packers fans were hoping that tandem of Eric Stokes and Jair Alexander would be one that would be formidable for years to come. Stokes is an unrestricted free agent. Doesn't seem likely that he's somebody the Packers are going to want to bring back. And then Bill Barnwell has Jair Alexander as the top likelihood for a cut from the Green Bay Packers. What's the likelihood that neither of them are going to be back with the Packers next year?
Well, Homer likes to do 0% and 100%, and I always give him a hard time about that because that's not where I live. But as close to being Homer-esque as I can, I think it's close to 100%. Like, I suppose Eric Stokes could hit the market and nobody really is smitten with him or wants to pay him, and he could come back on like a 1-year prove-it deal after they didn't pick up the 5th-year option. But I don't think I know his play, according to Pro Football Focus, improved down the stretch last year, but he just doesn't make plays. Like, he's gone over 1,000 snaps without an interception or a pass breakup. We were watching the one game against the Bears late in the season, like almost rooting for him on a throw that came in his direction to get credit for a pass breakup.
Wait, Jason. 1,000 plays and he never broke up a pass?
Correct. Yeah.
Wait, how's that? I mean, because you'd assume that he's somewhat getting, I don't want to say picked on, but they're more likely to throw it in his direction when Jair's there. And in 1,000, and I know Jair's been out a bunch, but still, 1,000 plays and he didn't break up a single pass? I'm not even saying not even an interception or a forced fumble, or you're saying he didn't break up a pass in 1,000 plays. That's not possible.
Yeah, it is. Now, it's possible that, the guy he was covering, it was an incomplete pass in that player's direction, but getting his hand on the ball and knocking it out of the receiver's hands for a pass breakup did not happen, and over 1,000 snaps. So that's the reality of his kind of statistical run. And then, obviously, look, Jair's missed 10 games each of the last 2 years. Goody could not be less interested in having a guy on his roster that's never available. And so I don't see a path back for him. The way he behaved at locker cleanout when he was about to talk to me, and then some TV crews came over, and he said, I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't got nothing good to say. You don't want to talk to me anyway. I thought that was a pretty big sign. I don't know what our conversation would have been had he talked to me, but I don't think it would have been positive, and I think he would have been taking advantage of that opportunity to kind of say his farewells, because I don't think he expects to be back.
Wait, so is he not the kind of guy who you'd hit up on the text and be like, all right, now that everyone's gone, like, what were you going to say?
So the crowd left, and then he was really mad, and I said, so we're not going to do this now? He's like, no, I'm done. I'm leaving. And he walked out, and he required me to go through a fairly extensive vetting process to give me his number, and then he didn't give it to me, even though he told me I passed the vetting. So he's an interesting character. We'll leave it at that.
Wait, can we go through what the process is to get
That's what I want to know.
Jair Alexander's cell phone number? Like, is this like are there physical strengths?
How many pull-ups can you do?
Yeah, it's like American Ninja Warrior. I had to go across, or Wipeout when John Anderson was on. I had to run across an obstacle course. I had to have a couple of players vouch for me, and then I had to have a PR guy say it was okay. The funny thing is the conversation started because I was wearing a sweatshirt for Sid's basketball team, and he asked me what it was, and we were talking, and he wears Ashwaubenon gear that he gets from like the local St. Vincent de Paul. So he's like, oh yeah, I love Ashwaubenon. I said, well, I'll tell you what, I make the girls T-shirts every season. We always put an inspirational quote on the back. Do you have an inspirational quote for them? And he said, yes. Everything you need is within you. And I said, okay, we'll use that. And so I made him a T-shirt, whole thing. He's like, I said, all right, are you going to come talk to the team? He's like, yeah, well, let's set that up. I said, well, I'm going to need your number. Well, we're going to have to go through a process for that. And then I never made the cut, so he never talked to the team, but he does have his name and quote on the back of a T-shirt.
And how'd the team do?
I don't think it inspired him as much as Steve Prefontaine and a few other quotes that I've used over the years.
Yeah. All right. Well, disappointing result for the year for the Green Bay Packers, as well as for the team with his Jair Alexander's quote on it. Really interesting stuff from Jason Wilde. We will continue to follow along closely at Wilde and Tausch and at Jason J. Wilde on X. Jason, thanks for jumping on with us as always.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, there he is, Jason Wilde. And, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, I was listening. They were, ripping Quay Walker. And I was like, I don't think Xavier McKinney, was giving out charity by praising Quay Walker. So it was good to hear that, right?
Yeah, but he's the prime candidate for a guy like Chewy to rip because he's got all of the physical skills. Quay's the perfect combination of size and speed and strength and all the physical tools, but he hasn't put it together yet, right? You haven't seen him out there being a real field tilter, game changer the way that many of us had projected. I mean, I think this will be I feel like every year is the year that Quay Walker is going to have his big breakout year. And I feel like the 90s NFL players are the ones that are going to be first to rip the guy that looks the part but isn't the part. So I'm not surprised.
When we continue, we will get you ready for our mystery guest. And is this our first mystery guest? I saw Doug Gottlieb was on last week. Was he a mystery guest?
He was not a mystery guest.
Okay. So this is going to be our first ever mystery guest in the new format. Because we had Rashad Vaughn as me acting as if I was him.
Are you actually going to have somebody on the phone for this?
This mystery guest will in fact be on the phone themselves.
Okay.
Okay. We'll prepare you for the mystery guest as we continue. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
What happens when you mix a 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year with a Packers Hall of Famer?
I'm not going to get into the Kringle turnover game, so that's what it needs to be. I think his legs. Yeah.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
The pastry
Are you guys being
turnovers.
serious? You guys can't put two and two
I got it. I did not get it.
They don't call themselves Racine Danish turnovers.
Sorry. Sometimes I wonder about you too, man.
Catch him from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Love is in the air at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This February, play to your heart's content in the Love It or Leave It $300,000 game show. Thursday night, you could love your prize or leave it for another. For a chance to cuddle up to thousands in cash and prizes, just play using your rewards card. Get ready to love it or leave it. Only at Potawatomi. Learn more at PaysBig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
The 2025 Wisconsin football schedule is here, and you should be too. Season tickets are on sale now, so don't miss your chance to jump around at Camp Randall Stadium this fall. Last year, 6 of 7 home games were sellouts, proof that there's nothing like game day with the Badgers. Secure your spot for marquee matchups against Ohio State, Washington, and Iowa, and enjoy the best value to see Wisconsin football in action. For more information and to get your season tickets, visit ewbadgers.com or call 1-800-GO-BADGERS.
Whether you're about to graduate high school or have been in the workforce for years, it's time to take control of your future. Welcome to Lakeland University, where you call the shots. We use our flexible learning formats to customize your degree path. In-person, online, and virtual classes are all available. Lakeland University is designed around you, your goals, your schedule, your future. You can even earn up to 25% of your degree via paid work experiences. Ready to take control of your future? Let us customize an education to fit your needs. Visit lakeland.edu/ESPN to learn more.
I'm excited about it. These cutting edge things that are new in medicine now, I'm all in on it. I'm all in on QC Kinetics. It works.
Henry Hinton decided to check out QC Kinetics regenerative treatments for his aching knees after seeing a close friend have amazing results without going under the knife.
I have a friend that started this, which is one of the reasons that I decided to do it. He could not play golf anymore, and he went to QC Kinetics and started having the treatments, and he's back golfing 3 days a week. He couldn't play at all.
QC Kinetics gets you back to doing what you love, using your own natural biologics to help heal and restore damaged joints. Long-term relief that puts a guy back on the golf course.
I've had one treatment so far, and I can already tell a difference. QC Kinetics works. I'm excited about it.
You're next. Start with a call to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Guys, let's talk about something important. That's you.
Hey, it's Brad Nortman. Taking care of your health and appearance isn't just about looking good, it's about feeling strong, confident, and ready to take on the world. At Quintessa Aesthetic Center, they make it easy. With experts in advanced skincare, body contouring, and anti-aging treatments, Quintessa's here to help you stay sharp and at your best. Trust me, when you look good, you feel even better. So why wait? Visit myquintessa.com and take the first step toward a more confident you.
Experience the timeless charm of the Knickerbocker on the Lake, Milwaukee's premier boutique hotel. With its stunning architecture and modern comforts, every detail tells a story. Whether it's a romantic getaway, a business trip, or simply a night away, you'll find elegance, history, and a warm welcome waiting for you. The Knickerbocker on the Lake, where every moment feels like a chapter from the past, written just for you. Visit knickerbockeronthelake.com to book your stay today. An unforgettable getaway awaits.
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video. Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
How about the first ever mystery guest coming your way? Now, everyone understand the rules now that we have this person live? So, basically, between Kyle, you, and Scals, you guys each go back. Is it you each go back and forth asking yes/no questions, or if you get a no, it goes to the other person? How are you guys organizing, or can either of you ask a yes/no question at any time? What are the rules?
Do we have to tell you what our strategy is here?
For real though.
Okay, so you're saying you're not competing with each other. You're teaming
No,
with
it's
each other?
a team effort.
We're a team. We're trying to get it in 7 guesses.
Okay, so the two of you are trying to guess.
And they have to be yes or no questions.
Yep, you're trying to get our mystery guest in 7 yes or no questions. 7 might be tough. At some point, we may need to adapt this to you only get 7 no's. You know what I mean? Like each time it's a no, it counts. Like you have to get it before there's 7 no's.
That makes sense. A yes shouldn't count against you.
Yeah, I mean,
be
do
able
we,
to get 7.
do we want to go to that rule where, if it's a yes, it's like you can keep going and that doesn't count, and you get if you get 7 no's, you're out.
Yeah, anything that helps us. Yes.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I think that's fair because if you're actually trying to narrow it down to one specific person in a world of 6 billion people,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, seven questions might be a lot,
right?
especially
Or not
when
a
they
lot.
could be obscure as Rashad Vaughn.
Right. I think Rashad Vaughn, he was a first-round draft pick of the Milwaukee Bucks. That's a very common person that we all think about most days of our lives.
Yeah, man, he was really good for the Bucks.
I mean, it's interesting. The last time you admitted that, it could be somebody like Greg Gard or somebody like Rashad Vaughn. You know, it could be somebody that is very relevant to Wisconsin sports in 2025 as we're on ESPN Wisconsin, or somebody that hasn't been relevant in Wisconsin sports for many years.
Yes, but it was great that Greg Gard joined us, although the game after he joined us, they lost to UCLA and their winning streak went away. So I don't know if and I don't know how has Doug Gottlieb performed since he joined the show. Was he able to break?
Has it gotten worse?
What, he had lost 20 games in a row or something?
They lost to Detroit Mercy yesterday. 8-16 Detroit Mercy beat him by 10.
So they are now 0-13 in the conference, 2-22 overall.
Yep.
Yeah.
But what are they against the spread? That's the question.
But their last win was last year.
Conference win.
No, any kind of win.
Oh, you're saying last calendar year. Yes.
Yeah. The last time they won a game, it actually was in November. You got to go all the way back to November, where they won 2 out of 3 games at one little streak there. They beat Western Illinois and SIUE. Is that another Southern Illinois?
That is
Edwardsville.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. That This has not been good luck, I would say, for our mystery guest so far. So we will see who our mystery guest is. They will join us as we continue. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Progressive presents Renters MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Emily Neal's 70-inch TV. Because after watching her second-grade students yell at each other for hours, there's nothing Emily enjoys more than watching super rich housewives also yell at each other. Why? Because those women are not her responsibility. And that's why her TV is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
When it comes to sending last-minute Valentine's Day gifts, nobody delivers like Target Circle 360. Get the perfect surprise delivered right to their door with Target Circle 360's unlimited same-day delivery on orders over $35. Start with a dozen red roses, then choose from our delicious assortment of favorite day candy and more. Crush your Valentine's Day celebration by sending something to everyone on your list. Only at Target. Restrictions apply.
Hey, Bucks fans, enjoy Michelob Ultra with ESPN Milwaukee and me this Friday at Magoo's on the Mound in Milwaukee. Alex Strofe here. I'll be at Magoo's on the Mound watching the Bucks take on the Atlanta Hawks Friday night starting at 6:30. Stop by to say hi and for a chance to win prizes. Also enjoy Michelob Ultra at Stenny's Lake Country in Pewaukee, Thirsty Duck Sussex, and Papa Stash in Big Bend. We'll see you Friday at Magoo's on the Mound for the Bucks game starting at 6:30 p.m. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks. Enjoy responsibly.
Whether you are a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit our great city of Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Hey, maybe you got friends coming in from out of town. St. Kate the Arts Hotel is ideally located in the heart of the theater district in downtown Milwaukee with deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, and nightly live music. You and your friends will enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com. That's stkatearts.com.
Hey, this is Gabe Neitzel. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Miss Polly said, come on over tonight. Told me you don't know your feelings. Can we focus on mine? I think I'm a
All right, I just communicated with our mystery guest. They should be dialing in as we speak. Greg, do you feel like you have your strategy set with Kyle? You feel like you're going to pull this off in less than 7 no's, our new 7 at 11?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. I did ask ChatGPT what 7 yes or no questions would be best to ask to determine a mystery guest selected by Craig Karmazin on Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin. So we'll see how accurate AI can be in helping us narrow down and determine who this guest would be. And I can speak because I can see the caller ID. There's no name on it. Just says wireless caller.
Okay, good.
Okay,
so
good.
There's no cheating there.
I was covering up with some paper here on the phone. I was like, I did hear a voice, though. So so I am going to be very honest, is that I did hear a voice when they said okay, unless they were using a voice change.
Oh, you're saying you think you know who it is just from the voice?
No, I know it's a male.
Oh, okay. Well, then you could ask that question to them right now, and it's as long as it's a yes, it doesn't count against you.
Do they know how to play the game, Craig?
They know. I believe
that doesn't count as one of our 7 yes or no questions.
All right, let's put the mystery guest on the air right now.
The mystery guest is now on the air.
Okay,
They have been punched through.
And mystery guest, you understand the only words you are saying until you are identified are the words yes or no, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, we would have known it was a male for the most part, regardless.
Hey, let's not judge. Let's not be judgy here. I don't think,
Kyle, for me and you, I don't think we need to ask that question.
Yeah, you may have just offended somebody very much there.
And if I did, I apologize.
Man.
All right, so good. They understand how the rules go. And yes. Greg, I'm going to allow you to ask the first question to get us rolling here.
All right, we good, Craig?
Yes.
All right. Have you ever played professional sports?
No.
All right. That is one of your 6 no's you're allowed, because if you get to 7, you have lost this game. The new 7 at 11. All right. Down to the final 5 no's.
Have you ever served as a broadcaster for professional sports?
Yes.
Looking for more no's here.
Good voice. They got a very good voice.
Good voice. Do you have a connection to Wisconsin either by birth, residency, or career?
No.
Wow.
All right. So we're looking at more of a national broadcaster.
We got 2. Wait, was that a question? Was that a question?
No, I'm talking. I'm talking to Kyle. I'm talking to Kyle.
All right, we got 2 no's right now.
Yep.
All right. So I feel they work in professional sports, and they said broadcast. I don't know if it's play-by-play, or I don't know if it's like radio, or I don't know if it's,
Maybe ask about what's, if like maybe pick a sport, see if we can narrow in on what the sport is.
Do you do play-by-play, or do you work in a specific sport of football or NFL or NBA?
Yes.
Okay. Narrowed it down to one of those 2 sports. You guys are getting close.
I feel like we should ask, do they only do it for one like professional sports team or something like that? I don't know how that is.
Well, then I would, yeah. I mean, we could ask about primary focus, or we could ask about network that they're on.
Oh,
we could see if it's an ESPN talent. Knowing,
we should do that. No, because that helps cut down.
All right. Are you seen or heard on an ESPN platform?
Yes.
All right. So they work for ESPN. They're in football and or NFL and or NBA.
Yeah, that's what we've gotten to.
No connection to Wisconsin.
Right. At least not the direct connection.
Wait a minute, direct connection.
Well, I'm saying the way you worded the question.
Through birth, residency, or career.
Right, exactly.
That's pretty all-encompassing.
Well, but I'm saying, like, if they
ever lived in Wisconsin, and that's residency at some point.
I'm saying, but if this is Tom Brady, let's just say, would you say he has a connection because he's announced the Packers game?
No.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying no direct connection, or because he beat the Packers in the NFC Championship.
Oh, we didn't need all that. And if it is Tom Brady,
no. It was not a professional athlete, so we know it's not Tom Brady.
Oh gosh, Greg, we got to talk.
All right, keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Do we go? Maybe we identify if it's NBA or NFL.
So
you might just want to pick one.
Let's go to. So we believe it's a professional broadcaster that does play-by-play or does some type of. They work in professional sports.
Yep, we didn't identify play-by-play or commentator.
We just said if you work in professional sports. I think it has to be NBA, right?
Ask.
Do you work with the National Basketball Association?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. So
we know it's
NBA, ESPN. No connection to Wisconsin, professional broadcaster.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's keep it moving.
How many questions do we? How many more do we have?
You have 2 no's.
We have 2 no's.
Oh, we have 2 no's. Oh, okay.
All right, keep going. Let's go.
Sounds good. Well, now we can just start. We can just start going with
ask play-by-play.
Yeah. So we'll ask that one. So we can ask.
Are you a play-by-play announcer on ESPN focused on the NBA?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say yes. Also. Yeah.
All right. So now we got. I think we can kind of figure out some names of some different individuals here. Okay. So they do play-by-play. They don't do stand-up. So that means they're not a sideline reporter. So they do play-by-play. And so play-by-play would have to be. Oh gosh, I got to figure out some of these guys' names.
Well, Kyle, just because they do one also doesn't mean they don't do the other.
Oh, now I'm trying to think.
I'm thinking about like you could look at like name. Are we at the name stage here?
Well, I think we're at I'm trying to think who Craig has connections with, who he can call.
But it's also somebody who's never been a professional athlete.
Yeah.
So we could look at a Mike Breen or Dave Pasch. I believe actually did live in Wisconsin at some point. So I feel like Pasch is out.
So that's out unless Dave Pasch is the person on the line and he forgot that. And then who does sideline reporting and does play-by-play as well?
I mean, George Sedano?
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking it is. Because Craig loves him some George Sedano.
Art, do you want to ask about George Sedano?
I don't know much about George Sedano other than he's a handsome gentleman. This is George, very handsome. Yeah. Does he do a radio show?
He does.
Yeah.
ESPN Los Angeles.
Well, let's see. Yeah. So let's see. We want to ask, do you do a radio show in Los Angeles?
Well, at that point, we might as well just ask if it's George Sedano.
I guess we do have more. Are you George Sedano?
Yes.
Yeah! Only 2 no's.
Yeah.
I feel like I may have helped you.
Impressive.
I feel like I may have helped you a little by saying like they may not only do play-by-play.
Yeah.
But it is in fact
that was
George.
a tough question.
It is in fact George
That was
Sedano,
a tough question.
who he said has no connection to Wisconsin, but he will be part of the crew tonight. NBA on ESPN as the Milwaukee Bucks host the Memphis Grizzlies. He is also based in LA. No better person to talk to about the trade of Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers. First of all, George, thanks for putting up with this nonsense, and great to have you on the show.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
All I was thinking while I was doing this is like, God, if this was like some of the like people I'm like kind of not as friendly with who I would have on this, is this too embarrassing to put them through? But I think I'll do this to people. I'll put them through this embarrassing thing that George just went through. So, George, first, you're so close to the NBA. You're so close to the Lakers. You're literally part of the national broadcast that's going on in ESPN tonight. Did you have any idea that this trade was coming for the Lakers?
Absolutely none. Zero. I was stunned. I'll give you a quick story about it. So I'm flying here last night, and I'm on this connection from Dallas to Milwaukee.
Wait, so you literally flew from Los Angeles to Dallas yesterday. So you flew in the
Correct.
two cities of the trade.
Right. Yes. So I flew from LA to Dallas here, and I'm watching. I was watching the Laker game on my phone, and game ends. So I flip over to ESPN on my phone. So I'm watching like college basketball, and a buddy of mine texts me and says, "Luka for AD." And I thought he was just like proposing a fake trade to me. I said, well, I think Luka could eventually leave. I said, I just don't know what AD would be like at that stage if it's, a couple years down the road. He goes, no, it's happening. And I'm like, what? So I go on my phone, and I have alerts for Shams, but I must have had like do not disturb or something. I don't know, whatever. I didn't see it. So I go and I see Shams' first tweet, and I'm like, did he get hacked? And I'm like, there's no way, because that doesn't even make sense. So I'm about to text Shams and say, hey, dude, is this real or did you get hacked? And then the second tweet pops up and says, this is real with all these details. And then I'm still confused because I'm like, wait, now there's details, but this doesn't even seem like enough for Luka Doncic. So I'm like, I'm about to text him, and then Windhorst and I are texting, and he's like, no, it's real. And I'm like, whoa. So I was just blown away by the whole thing. I was up, no joke, till about 3:30 in the morning here in Milwaukee, just listening to stuff, reading stuff, watching stuff, kind of going through it in my own head. I was blown away, stunned that this happened.
So you obviously were stunned. Do you believe that LeBron found out at dinner, or do you think he had some idea that this was happening?
Yes. No, I absolutely believe that he found out. So think of it this way, okay? This was obviously done in the shadows, as Shams Charania reported, right? So if you're the only team, okay, think of this from a business perspective. If Dallas calls you, first of all, let's imagine Rob Pelinka's reaction to this. He must have thought he was getting punked, okay? when Nico Harrison calls him and says, hey, we want to trade Luka for AD. Like, he's probably like, wait, what? And I'm sure he reacted just fine, but in his head, he had to have been like thinking, what is going on here? So anyway, when ultimately, like when this is done in the shadows, the way I would say is, if Nico Harrison, the GM of Dallas, calls Rob Pelinka, you can't tell anyone, because if you tell anyone outside of your owner in that situation, that's going to leak, and then you are no longer first to market. Like, you no longer have that advantage of being able to make the best deal possible for you. Because if this leaks and goes and gets out, then all of a sudden, if you're Dallas, you're going to field a ton of calls. So if you're the Lakers, your only inherent advantage is that this is a one-to-one conversation. So you can't tell LeBron. You can't tell AD. You can't tell their agent, Rich Paul. You've got to consummate this deal with your owner and then go from there. And then once it's done, then you can tell people. And that's what happened in the sense that they told Rich Paul literally as this thing was breaking. To my knowledge, that's the way it went down. So, yeah, I totally believe LeBron didn't know.
And so AD, they just had to assume will report, does want to play with the Mavericks. Because remember, the last team he was on, he started wearing like Mickey Mouse or whatever. That's all, folks. Porky Pig shirts, right? Like, and just decided he didn't want to be there. So they all had to just assume that all these guys were going to be happy with where they are. So now that this trade is done, do you think either or both of these teams are contenders to play the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA Finals this year?
So what I would say is, and by the way, yes, AD waived his trade kicker, which I believe was a 15% trade kicker, so he seems good with the deal. I think in the short term, this is still a good deal for Dallas. They obviously had concerns, and I knew this, and I know Tim McMahon, our ESPN Dallas reporter, reported this. They've had concerns about his commitment to his physique for years, and even there have been some personality clashes. So I still wouldn't have traded him. But yeah, so they think that AD changes their trajectory, especially the way Kyrie is playing right now. They're both on similar timelines, age-wise. They've got great role players. And when Derek Lively comes back, they've got three of the best power rotation players you can have. So for Dallas short term, I still think it's good. The West is just so loaded that, who knows what happens. But I still like Dallas's situation short term. And with the Lakers, they need another move. This can't be it because they have no front court help now. I mean, Jackson Hayes is their only option at the moment at center. So you can't have that. There has to be another move that correlates with this, unless it's, LeBron waiving his no trade clause and going somewhere else because he doesn't want to go through a rebuild. So I still think some of those machinations need to play themselves out. But I do think Dallas is still in the mix in the West. I need to see more from the Lakers to figure that part out.
So as we chat with George Sedano, today's 7 at 11 mystery guest, we use that to segue to the Milwaukee Bucks that you are going to be seeing tonight. Obviously, the Bucks started 2-8, then played a bunch better, coming off a pretty bad 1-3 West Coast trip without Bobby Portis. What's your take right now on the Milwaukee Bucks?
Craig, I get the sense that this team is your very atypical veteran team that just doesn't bring it every night, particularly against lower-level competition. But when they play the good teams, they generally play better. And I know, we can make the case, San Antonio is a good team. Maybe they're not a good team. Who knows? They're like somewhere in the middle. But more than likely, it feels like to me at the times I've had Milwaukee. Now, granted, I may be skewed, right? It was when Wemby came here to Milwaukee. It was at NBA Cup. I was doing those games for ESPN Radio. And they just could kind of flip a switch. They're so big, they're so strong, they're so physical that as long as they're defending and hitting shots, I still like their chances to come out of the East. Do I think Boston is still the team to beat? Yeah, I still think so. But I think the one team in the East that can match up with them well in a playoff series is still Milwaukee. So if those two teams played, I still believe Boston would be slightly favored, in my opinion, but it would be more of a toss-up than any other matchup in the East.
So you're saying ahead of even where the Knicks are right now, and I know OG got hurt last night, you actually, and the Cavs, who we know have struggled recently, you still think the Bucks because of their veteran experience? Is that what it is? That and size when they're all healthy?
Yeah, and again, they've just been there. Like, Doc's been there, Giannis has been there, a number of those guys have been there, and I like their experience. I like the fact that, they can just bully people. And I still think in the playoffs, the game slows down enough where physicality is let go some, and I think that favors the Bucks. more so than the Knicks, who don't defend at a high level and will defend even worse in theory without OG Anunoby. And the Cavs, I'm just not a huge Cavs believer in the playoffs. Evan Mobley needs to be their best player for them to win a championship. And I don't think he's there yet. He's certainly taken a big leap, but I don't think he's there yet.
I was waiting for Greg to jump in there as we chat with George.
I didn't know you're running the show. I didn't know we're over by 5 minutes. I didn't know if we're supposed to break here.
All right. I mean, your call. You want to get one last one in for George? I'll let you get one last in for George.
Was last night the most shocking night you've experienced covering the NBA?
I mean, it's certainly up there. I would say the only thing that rivals it is Ray Allen's shot against the Spurs and the way that Game 6 unfolded in the 2013 finals. And that was a game, right? Like, that's not a transaction. So this is certainly near the top. It's certainly the transaction that blew me away. And,
George, I don't even know if you're old.
I
don't even know if you're old enough, and it's such a bizarre kind of off the court thing to compare it to. This was the most shocked I've been with something in the NBA that I can think of, and maybe I could be corrected, since learning that Magic Johnson had HIV, as a kid. I remember that being so stunning and so, seemingly, not possible in my mind at the time, that this was the most out-of-nowhere news that I could remember, as an NBA fan and follower and someone been involved in the league, since then. I mean, that's how crazy this was.
Yeah, I was very young then, but I mean, I certainly remember being blown. I don't even think at that time I was so young I didn't even know what that meant. You know what I'm saying? So, in retrospect, that was. But I remember being stunned by Magic Johnson can't play basketball anymore, and then finding out as a kid what that really entailed.
How about Michael Jordan going to play baseball?
Michael Jordan retiring.
Michael Jordan going to play baseball.
It was more my age. Yeah. Michael Jordan retires more my age. Yeah, that one was certainly stunning because I was in high school when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's on par from an NBA standpoint with how shocking this stuff is. So, George, last quickie, I'll let you set the table for tonight's game in terms of what Bucks fans can expect. That game on WTMJ and right here on ESPN Madison, as well as on ESPN tonight. What can we expect, Bucks Grizzlies tonight?
I think Ja could play. They're shooting around. Well, they were just shooting around just now, so I should get an update on whether he's going to be available or not. He did not play against the Houston Rockets, but I got the sense that he could. I think if Ja plays, we're in for a great game. Obviously, the Bucks, as you mentioned, off that 1-3 road trip, they want to kind of right the ship. Memphis has had a lot of good fortune against the Bucks. I think they've won 6 straight. Against them, so they certainly feel confident going against a Bucks team. So I think we'll have a good one tonight against a high-scoring Memphis team who, again, can defend at a high level as well, and a Bucks team that is reeling a little bit but gets up for the big matchups.
All right, there we have it. George Sedano, part of ESPN's coverage tonight of the NBA on ESPN, and our mystery 7 at 11 guest today. Thanks so much, George.
You got it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, George.
All right. Only 2 no's it took you to get to George Sedano. How about that?
Do you like the new format? I feel like now you're wishing we had 7 total questions.
No, I'm fine with the new format. There needs to be a clock on you guys. It's way too slow. It needs to be.
Let's talk about that on the other side. If you sound like you got gripes, you sound like a little salty you lost today, Craig.
No. And I helped you guys also.
Oh, you didn't help us at all. You didn't help us.
I pretty much gave it away to you guys.
You gave nothing away.
Anything. I gave it away for you, and
you were
that's
like,
my fault.
Maybe like Tom Brady if he played. Has he ever flown through the Milwaukee airport?
No, that's not the part. I pretty much gave it away. We'll explain when we come back. It's my fault. Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. With Wilde and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
Romeo. This 3-syllable, you have to take the O out of the equation. That's too easy.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Iota, right? Not one iota. Iota. Yeah, that's only 4 letters.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
Let's pretend you're a first-time listener to Wilde and Tausch. What the hell is this? They're discussing syllables.
On 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Monica, we've got to hand it to you.
You and the design team have outdone yourselves.
Are you talking about the One Collection?
Those rings say you are the one.
And they say it symbolically.
Describe the symbols.
Every ring in the One Collection should be presented with a special ritual.
What would that ritual be?
You pick up her left hand and you place a kiss on her ring finger.
Rick, you never told me about that part.
Then you show her the tiny red diamond, flush mounted inside the ring, that will forever be in contact with her finger.
Why is it red?
Because that's when the giver says to the one, wherever you go, my heart goes with you.
I give you this kiss. I give you my heart.
The red diamond is a secret symbol of that sacred moment.
The center diamond on the outside of the ring is for the whole world to see.
But the tiny red created diamond inside the ring is only for the two of them.
The One Collection of engagement rings is available exclusively at Kessler's.
To find the Kesslers nearest you,
visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, protection and income are the keys to success. Simply put, if you're nearing or in retirement, you can't afford a stock market crash. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game film was a key to success. Now I'm a best-selling author and star in a new groundbreaking documentary film called The Retirement Deception. It unveils how the Wall Street machine has been deceiving us for decades and proves you don't need to risk your nest egg in the market to have the retirement you deserve. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. I want you to watch this film for free. Call today for your free copy of The Retirement Deception. I think you would agree 30 to 40 years of saving for retirement is at least worth a phone call to watch this film and see how you can improve your retirement. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free copy of The Retirement Deception. Call 855-620-1801. That's 855-620-1801. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
For your little ones and your biggest joys, for your forever true and your fur kids too. For all the reasons you smile, get covered with dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. Support your overall health so you can be your best for those who matter to you most. Call John Saganiak Jr. John Saganiak Jr., Saganiak Planning, 262-783-6161. Saganiak Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. The Saganiak Planning Marquette Basketball Greatest Scorers. Career points is nice, but the best way to judge scoring, points per game. Marquette's top 10 points per game. Number 1, Marcus Howard. Then George Thompson, Dwayne Wade, Jim Jones, and Dean Meminger, the top 5. Don Kogis, Mike Moran, Bob Wolf, Terry Rand, and Tom Flynn, the rest of the top 10, got to be above 16 per game to make the list. Over 20 points per game for a career, only Marcus Howard and George Thompson.
Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy here. Don't let the chilly weather end your golf season. X-Golf and American Family Field is open all year round. They've got innovative and accurate golf simulators, all overlooking left field at AmFam Field. Enjoy daily lunch specials or have an outing with your friends and take in X-Golf's full bar and food menus. X-Golf AmFam Field is even offering golf lessons by a PGA Pro. Everyone is welcome at X-Golf AmFam. Book your sim today, xgolfamfamfield.com. I'll see you out there.
Station updates, show clips, and your place to interact with us every single day just by scrolling through your feed. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ESPN Milwaukee. It's Sunday Karma with Craig Carmenson on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
All right, I got to just figure out my emotional state to be able to let you guys do this on your own. Because I kind of let you guys have this one.
Explain where you feel like you gave us any help that allowed us to get the answer.
Well, so we have this new 7-Eleven format. It's my relationships that I'm putting out on this. And like in my mind, I'm thinking if you don't get it, they'll be embarrassed. And then like I'm putting them in a bad spot coming into my home. So when you guys said, so Kyle basically said, is it a play-by-play announcer, which George Sedano does play-by-play for NBA on ESPN Radio. He does some TV play-by-play, does a bunch of stuff. So Kyle was like, okay, so they don't do sideline reporting. And
I got to you.
And I kind of jumped in and was like, well, it doesn't mean they're exclusive to play-by-play. And like then when you're thinking, all right, it's someone who's play-by-play and, George Sedano obviously comes to mind. I think
I had the roster in front of me. We would have gotten to Sedano.
We know who Craig.
Wait, now having the roster in front of you, are we saying that's fair game? Just so we could all be on the same page.
Oh, I thought so.
Yeah.
Right. So like if it's like, are you an NFL quarterback? Yes. Then you can pull up the list of NFL quarterbacks, and that's fair game. Okay, I'm good with that. I just want to make sure we're on the same page on the rules here.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. And then I look and I'm like, all right, which one of these, folks that are part of the crew wasn't a former athlete?
But I'm saying, I love me some Ian Eagle. I love me some Brian Anderson. And I know you had gotten ESPN at that point. I love me some Mike Breen. There are a lot of guys that are my guys that would have qualified for that. I feel like I just kind of like led you into George Sedano.
No, to be honest, Craig, I'm going to be real with you. So I knew as soon as we went play-by-play or went sideline, I had a feeling it was George Sedano. I just couldn't remember his name. Because I'm thinking, all right, so who does Craig have connections with? And I know you love you some George Sedano. I just couldn't remember his name.
Anybody at ESPN I have a connection to. It could be Stephen A.
Listen, I ain't seen Stephen A. Every time
we would have recognized Stephen A's voice.
Exactly.
I mean, we had Stephen A. in Milwaukee for Thanalysis. We had Stephen A. doing stuff for Good Karma like a month or two back.
Craig, every time George is in town, he's been, trotted around the office. Hey, this is George. He's going to do a show from here. So I know that's your boy. So I'm like, you know what? If we got all these guesses, I want to do George.
All right. Let's talk to Frank, who's an accountant. You're on Sunday Karma. Morning, Frank.
Morning. A little feedback since I critiqued the first version of this thing. What I heard is I didn't realize you're going with 7 no's versus 7 questions. Craig, you might want to rethink that because there were 2 multiple questions. The Wisconsin one really had 3 questions in there. That only counted 1 against them. So that increases the odds to get yeses. If all they're trying to do, they could give 100 yeses and eventually.
Right, but if they had gotten the yes, they would still not know if he lived here, if he played here, etc. So it would eventually lead to multiple no's as they were trying to narrow it down. Like how they had said basketball or football, at some point they had to ask the follow-up. Frank, I think the problem is they were taking too long. I think it should be like they have 10 seconds between questions and the clock should be like constantly going and this should be a rapid fire segment.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. I think if you let them have those string on questions and to avoid no's, I think they're gonna almost always get it. Would be my guess.
Frank, what the heck, man? What do you want to do, man? We're trying to. You're not supposed to be.
No,
for
but
Craig.
he's saying like if you're saying like, are you a person, place, or thing? You got to just be able to be like, are you a person? But to me, if they say yes, I'm a person, place, or thing, then you're still gonna have to follow up. Are you a place or whatever? And we know it's a person. Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, but you avoided a no. Maybe 7 no's and 11 questions. Maximum 11 questions and maximum 7 no's.
7 at 11, 7 in 11. You have to have, if you can't get 7 no's in 11 questions. There we go. It's getting interesting. Thanks, Frank. Good luck. Yep, you're the man. I think we got to, we got to let it breathe a little bit, right? Like the offense and the defense, it takes a little, right? We can't just, expect Dame and Giannis to have the pick and roll perfect in the first game. So I think we need to let the segment breathe a little bit, Scals, don't you think?
I'm good. Right, I'm good with the timer. I think that when you say it's 7 no's, it obviously changes the strategy as far as casting a wider net and then narrowing it down. But I think that the timing in between for the benefit of the fans listening is important for us to continue to put stuff out there. And I also think that guards against your concern of us using resources, because if you have 10 seconds between questions, then it is a little bit more rapid fire. And it, I think, has more of a potential to create those moments where maybe one of us asks a question that the other one thinks shouldn't have been asked.
And especially one that's already that embarrasses the guest, which ultimately makes me feel bad, but is good for all
then
of
that
us.
means you need to get more marquee names.
No, but that's good for all. No, but I'm saying if it's a marquee name and you can't, and you're like, I know it's not like this person because I hate this person. And then if it ends up being that person, like, then so be it. Speaking of hating this person and being this person, I don't know why I would segue that way. Ron in the Key, who everybody loves. You're on Sunday Karma. What's up, Ron?
Wow, man. Expect that from Ben.
Hello, Ron.
As bad as... Hello, Gregory. I don't know that it's been stellar the first two attempts, but it's better than what you've let my game show, Are You Smarter Than, turn into ever since Greg left.
Oh, are you saying Ben Brust is just so intelligent now that the game has lost its interest level?
No, no, God, no. No one's saying that. I don't think that's ever been said. The show isn't the same without Greg. Just go back and listen to the first time that Greg returned, and I think Evco was on the same day. But it's just better when Ben sucks more. And when Greg's on, he does. He reverts back to his role as the dumbest person on the show.
Yeah, there are some knocks. Thanks, Ron. There are some knocks that people
Ron,
feel like.
Dumbest person. Wait a minute. So who's dumb? Who is Ben not still the dumbest person on the show?
Oh, hey, yeah, that is. Kyle, did you take that personally?
I sure did.
Oh, he just dropped off.
He hung up.
Well, you guys do have Strofe on the show now, too. So
Were you on the show when Scals was back that day, Kyle?
I'm at work almost every day, so of course, yes.
Okay, so then
I was here.
So the fact that he was the dumbest person on the show, that's not an accusation against you. That's saying that he must be dumber than
Scalzo,
either Nortman. No. That he's dumber than people who weren't on that day because he's smarter than other people on other.
I think what Ron is saying is that my presence and Evan's presence at some point makes Ben even dumber because he, for some reason, reverts back to a different person when we're there. I would also give Josh DiMaggio credit as well for the performance of Ben Brust when I'm on, because when I do Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust, Josh is the one that selects the questions, and both of us know the honey holes to go down in order to get the most embarrassing bad answers from Ben.
Yeah, as if it's that difficult, but obviously you have turned it into a science over the years from the Scalzo and Brust days. When we continue, we have a lot of things to get to still. We're just getting going. We still have a Palermo's pick to get to.
Here's what I wanted to hit on next, Craig. Not to take over here, but I'm interested, given that we had such an incredible player-for-player trade last night, of what quarterbacks Packers fans would be willing to deal in a straight-up scenario Jordan Love for. Like, how many quarterbacks in the NFL would you say you're willing to trade Jordan Love for?
So you're saying make your complete list right now.
Complete list.
Every quarterback you would trade Jordan Love for.
Straight up, if you want to, let's just call it straight up. Who would you be willing to trade Jordan Love for?
Yeah, I also have a Brewers thing. I know that's a rare thing to discuss on a Sunday in whatever month this is, February. I have a Brewers thing also as we roll on. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is hosting another Scramble tournament with $1,000 in cash prizes available. Hey, ESPN Milwaukee, this is Gary Ellerson, and Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center invites you to play in a two-man scramble at TPC Scottsdale, all from their comfortable golf simulators. Grab a friend and sign up today at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com. The tournament costs $120 per pairing and is happening now through February 28th. Your winter chance to play TPC Scottsdale awaits. WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Kevin Moret here from Mentality. Life's a relentless competition, and you might be losing without even knowing it. With testosterone levels plummeting 25% in just 2 decades, you're likely operating at a fraction of your potential. Your kids sense it when you're too exhausted for playtime. Your wife notices when that spark fades. Here's the harsh truth. Without addressing low T, nothing works. Diets fail, workouts fall flat, but there's hope. Mentality's FDA-approved treatment restores testosterone by an average of 30%. Don't let low T rob you of life's precious moments. Start at mentalityhealth.com/radio.
One call, that's all. That's Gruber Law Offices, and one thing you can count on, just like you can count on the NBA to shock you with some stunning news overnight, you can count on the fact that Gruber Law has a team that is here in Wisconsin dedicated for you for 35 plus years. That's all they've been doing. They're there, so if you go through something for the first time, you have a team that's gone through it tens of thousands of times. That's right. One call, that's all doesn't mean that it's easy what they do on their end. That doesn't mean that they cut any corners. That means that they are going to relieve you of all the stress, the pressure. How do you deal with the insurance company? How do you deal with medical bills? How do you deal with all the legal aspects? That's the beauty of it. So if you or a loved one is ever injured, I always recommend that it's one call, that's all, to Gruber Law Offices.
Homer here. I'm inviting you to join me starting August the 9th as we explore the many shades of Ireland with Colette Vacations, a 10-day journey filled with legendary views, historic expeditions, and unforgettable tales. Explore the historic city of Dublin, kiss the famous Blarney Stone, and stand on the spectacular cliffs of Moher. We'll also journey Ireland's breathtaking countryside and follow the stunning coastal route of the Ring of Kerry. We'll experience the daily life of an Irish family with a dairy farm visit and enjoy a taste or two at a historic whiskey distillery. We'll even stay overnight in a medieval castle. Join me for all of the experiences and so many more. All the details are online at espnmilwaukeetravel.com. Don't worry about the planning. Colette handles all the details of this 10-day excursion. You can get full scoop of this once-in-a-lifetime trip on February the 2nd at 5 p.m. as I'll be hanging out with the Colette team at Maddie's Bar and Grill in New Berlin. That's February 2nd, 5 p.m. Maddie's in New Berlin. Don't miss out.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. Zero sugar, zero carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
Kyle Preston Nortman.
For sure.
No, Brad. No,
Kyle.
KBN.
If this is good Jordan Love, I'm officially concerned for the future of the team.
You're listening to ESPN Milwaukee, 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel.
Damn, Flam Dog.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Like I had it easy. If I ever cross you out and stop with you, it was for a reason. One thing about me.
All right, continuing on Sunday Karma, and we are talking now Jordan Love as Luka Doncic, the top 5 player in the league, is traded. Not straight up, but pretty close to straight up. So what we're looking for is who are we talking players or quarterbacks, Greg? Just to clarify here.
We can expand it to players. I was focusing on quarterbacks because I think it's so rare that you would be willing to trade a franchise quarterback even for any other position, no matter how great they are.
I would agree. And we're not saying based on their contracts or anything like that, right? We're just saying straight up, but you are taking them at this age, but who would you trade straight up for Jordan Love right now?
Yeah, I think you got to look at it through this 10-year window, right? I mean, he's 26 to 36. Like, who would you know?
Right, but I'm taking Mahomes over him.
Of course.
Even if 8, 9, 10 years from now, you might not rather have him.
You'd rather have 7 years of Mahomes of what he's at than 10 years of where Jordan Love would be.
Yeah, Mahomes guarantees you're going to make it to at least 2 Super Bowls.
Yep. Okay. So then we're all agreed there, right?
Yep.
Now, number 2, now I don't know that this is where most people would go number 2, and it might be a little bit premature. Do you know where I'm going?
Jaden Daniels.
Yes, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, not premature. I think I'm aligned there. You could trade him straight up for Jaden Daniels tomorrow.
Yep, and I'll say yes. And I love me some Jordan Love, but what he did for the Commanders was incredible. He's only going to get better.
Yep. Okay. So then I think you go to Josh Allen.
Yep.
See, I guess Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen and Lamar haven't won anything.
But
except for MVPs, or I guess Josh Allen might win one.
Yeah, I just think we saw Josh Allen get to another championship game, and it's not like he's been the reason they're losing. And if we already can't have Patrick Mahomes, then I think, he's the closest thing in terms of the AFC of getting there on a consistent basis, right? So then it gets interesting, right? Because then you get into, you get into Lamar, and Lamar should be easy, right?
Lamar's easy. I'm taking Lamar.
Two-time MVP and all that. But in the postseason, we now have a large sample size of Lamar he has never played a game as good as the one Jordan Love played against the Cowboys last year. And, and in the postseason, Jordan Love has protected the ball better and ultimately been a better quarterback, even with the bad interception against the 49ers, than has Lamar Jackson.
I'm still taking Lamar. He's a multi-time MVP. He can do things on the football field that very few people can do. And he was born in 1997, and Jordan Love was born in 1998.
But can he get to the AFC Championship?
How can Jordan get to the NFC Championship?
I'm saying Jordan Love is almost as close as getting there,
Craig,
right?
I think it's even. It's a little ridiculous, a little far to say that you'd rather have Jordan Love with the potential versus Lamar Jackson, where you know he's good. I personally would rather take many tries with Lamar Jackson, knowing that Lamar's going to get us in a position where at least we have that game, and eventually he will break through. Right? I don't think Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen go through their entire career where they cannot defeat Pat Mahomes. Like that would be a shame.
I'm saying we know what the regular season ceiling for Lamar is, and it's as good as almost any quarterback we've ever seen. We don't know what his postseason ceiling is going to be because we haven't seen it be that remarkable to this point. All right, Joe Burrow.
I'm taking Joe too.
Taking Joe.
I think you got to take Joe.
Those are the only four. Those are the only four quarterbacks I'm taking over. I'm trading straight up for Jordan.
Wait,
Love
aren't we
today.
at 5 now?
Jaden Daniels. Oh, okay. Pat Mahomes. Yeah.
Mahomes, Daniels, Lamar, Josh, and Burrow. So now that means you are not taking Jalen Hurts.
No.
Who's been in 2 Super Bowls?
No, I'm not taking Jalen Hurts. No. His roster is fantastic. Jalen's cool and all, but I'm not taking Jalen Hurts.
I would take Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I don't know why. I really don't. Jalen Hurts, his performance in the playoffs against the Green Bay Packers was lackluster, and then he just uses his legs a lot. I mean,
but that's part of the game at this point. Like he's got the ability to use his legs.
How
in a
good
way
was he in the Super Bowl last time? Right? I know he had a fumble, but he was fantastic in that game.
How good would
against the
Jalen
Chiefs.
Hurts be on a roster like the Green Bay Packers?
I mean, I think he would play to what he's needed to be done.
I mean, he has.
And if you have a smart team, you build an offense around a guy like Lamar or a guy like Jalen Hurts or a guy like Jaden Daniels, and it allows you to do it in a way that makes it really hard to defend.
Okay, wait. So C.J. Stroud.
After this last,
season, he had as big a rookie year as anyone until Jaden Daniels.
That's true.
And then this year, he was missing all 3 of his receivers at times. And when we saw him against the Packers, obviously in that game, Stephon Diggs got hurt mid-game, and they were already without Nico Collins, right, in that game.
Give me C.J. Stroud. His offensive line was brutal. I don't hate Jordan Love.
You hate Jordan Love.
I think Jordan Love at this point is better, but C.J. Stroud gets you how many more years?
You're just standing in a line full of quarterbacks. You said, give me him, give me him. Yeah, give me that one too. Give me that one. Just Jordan Love just getting picked over.
I have him as a top 10 quarterback right now.
No, barely.
That's not true. We've gotten to 7?
If Jared Goff was 4 years younger, you'd take Jared Goff over him.
I wouldn't take Jared Goff over him.
Okay, Justin Herbert.
That is the last one that I would take over him.
No, not Justin Herbert.
Now, Justin Herbert, let's remember, was awful in the postseason, but he actually threw less interceptions in the entire regular season as compared to what he did in that game against the Texans in the postseason this year. So I don't know how, if we're talking about postseason success, I don't know how we can count on Justin Herbert here.
I'm not at a place like Jordan Love's won one postseason game. So why are we talking about postseason success?
He's performed exceptionally well in that postseissing game.
He did.
And I go back to the knock on Justin Herbert is the fact that his teams didn't win. He gotten multiple coaches fired now, right? I think he's on his 3rd head football coach and
2nd. He just got Brandon Staley fired.
Oh, Brandon was his coach the whole time. I wasn't sure if Anthony Brown was there with him as well.
I thought he got one more fired, but either way.
His 2nd year starting, right? We just went through Jordan Love's 2nd year starting.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert's 2nd year starting at 23 years old. The man threw 38 touchdowns and threw for over 5,000 yards. And he can run, and he's tough, and he's durable. I think that he's the same exact age as Jordan Love, and he has way worse talent around him.
Well, okay. Last year, was he way worse talent offensively?
way worse talent
You think
offensively.
so? Well, Keenan, you had Keenan
They had a
Allen.
good. No, they had.
No, they didn't have Keenan
No,
Allen.
not this past season. Two
No,
seasons
no,
ago.
this past season they had a great they had an improved offensive line, but they did not have the running back. They'd have no one. You
Their
can compare
top
to
wide
Jacobs.
receiver was a rookie second-round pick named Ladd.
No, I'm talking to who was really good. I mean, he was better than any receiver on the Green Bay Packers this year consistently. Toward the end of the season.
Ladd McConkey was definitely better than anyone on the Packers.
But I'm thinking
I will
about
agree.
the 2 seasons ago when he had Quentin Johnson dropping passes, when he also had Keenan Allen as well.
Keenan
Also,
Allen was hurt 2 years ago.
No, Keenan Allen played. He played 2 years ago. He didn't play a full season 2 years ago because he never does. But then you on top of that, because I remember against the Packers. But
Okay,
then on
wait,
top of that,
Caleb
also-
Williams.
No,
Caleb
no,
Williams.
No, now we're jumped the
Pass.
shark. Now we've jumped the shark.
Pass.
No? Okay.
Hard pass. Easy pass.
Dak Prescott.
No. Don't want Dak. The
Okay,
Cowboys
so
not
don't want
Dak.
Caleb's easy. Dak's easy. Jared Goff, you said is easy.
Yeah, I
No.
don't
No.
want Jared Goff either.
Baker Mayfield.
No, I don't
Nope.
like, even though Baker's cool and all.
Dude, Baker's. I mean, you said that quickly. I mean,
No, it's cool. It's cool.
I mean,
Speaking
I feel
of
like
the
Baker
Buccaneers'
didn't punt
new
against
offensive coordinator,
against the Commanders.
Well, you got to look at ceiling, right? I mean, and that's the thing is where's
Okay.
the ceiling?
All right, Michael Penix.
Nope.
Nah, I got to see more. I don't know. He's 20. He's like 25, 26. His dang self.
Stafford.
No. Oh heavens.
Nope.
No. Stafford might retire.
For the next 10 years of Stafford, you don't want that?
No, I'm not taking him into retirement.
And then the only other one,
Aaron Rodgers?
there's two. No, there's two for the next 10 years that you got to think about. Kyler Murray.
Nah, Kyler is not that great. I watched
Too
Kyler
small.
play. I watched him play, and he is not that good.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
I'm with you on that. No, Kyler.
And then this last one, I think, would be mapped out pretty closely. And y'all might disagree, but I think very, very similar would be Brock Purdy.
Nope.
Brock has
You
to
missed
say
one that I think will be interesting. Drake May.
Oh,
I actually skipped Bo Nix. I actually skipped Bo
why'd
Nix
you skip
also.
Bo Nix? I would think
Bo
about
Nix.
Bo Nix
Yeah,
over
Bo
Drake
Nix
May
and
right
Drake
now.
May.
I totally disagree on that.
I mean,
Bo
Drake
Nix
May
is
did
dropping
not have a lot
dimes.
of talent around him this year. I will agree with that.
like
So we
Drake.
don't know what Drake is yet because of the talent that was around him. Bo Nix showed
He wins
certainly a lot
everywhere
more
he
this
goes.
year.
Bo literally he went to like 5
Except for
different colleges.
Auburn.
They were over 500, weren't they? Or not?
I mean, over 500. It's college
And then
football.
he went to Oregon. It was a young man. Now he's an old man. But no, I like this. I like this a lot.
I wouldn't say yes to either of them, but I would put Drake May kind of close from a physical skills and projection standpoint.
Wait, so you're putting Drake May ahead of Bo Nix, but behind.
Behind Jordan Love. Yep.
All right, we will talk about the underrated Milwaukee Brewers move. That's my Palermo's pick as we continue. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
You're listening to Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
What makes the Pell experience so exceptional, something you won't find anywhere else? Come see us at the Neri Spring Home Improvement Show, February 14th through the 16th. There's never been a better time to experience Pella in person and get all your questions answered. Find out why Pella has the best wood warranty in the industry. Learn about our incredible design team with an ability to customize windows to match your unique home, and how our professional installers work fast and year-round. The timing is impeccable. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin is now offering windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. You also have no worries thanks to Pella's 10-year installation warranty. Book your in-home consultation at the show and receive a complimentary DesignWorks consultation and Pella Care inspection. That's February 14th through the 16th at the Neri Spring Home Improvement Show. We'd love to see you there. Get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month at PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply.
What happens when you mix a 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year with a Packers Hall of Famer?
I'm not going to get into the Kringle turnover game. So that's what it needs to be. I think his legs. Yeah.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Like the pastry
Are you guys being serious?
turnovers.
You guys can't put two.
I got it. I did not get it when you first
They don't
said
call
it.
themselves Racine Danish
I'm
turnover.
sorry. Sometimes I wonder about you two, man.
Catch him from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Hey, Bucks fans, enjoy Michelob Ultra with ESPN Milwaukee and me this Friday at Magoo's on the Mound in Milwaukee. Alex Strofe here. I'll be at Magoo's on the Mound watching the Bucks take on the Atlanta Hawks Friday night starting at 6:30. Stop by to say hi and for a chance to win prizes. Also enjoy Michelob Ultra at Stenny's Lake Country in Pewaukee, Thirsty Duck Sussex, and Papa Stash in Big Bend. We'll see you Friday at Magoo's on the Mound for the Bucks game starting at 6:30 p.m. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks. Enjoy responsibly.
This message is sponsored by WisCaregiver.com.
People across Wisconsin are enjoying the rewards, stability, and flexibility of a career in healthcare. Why not you? WisCaregiver.com gets you started. Choose between 2 great options. Become a CDCP, Certified Direct Care Professional, or a CNA, Certified Nurse Aide. Training is free, plus earn a $500 bonus. It's easy to start your new career. Learn more at WisCaregiver.com.
Hungry? Quick Trip's got you. Food's here, and it's hot and ready. Check out our appetizers, like crispy tornadoes, packed with bold fillings that'll keep you coming back for more. And experience Quick Trip Zesty Mini Tacos. Bite-sized, big flavor, and totally irresistible. No dinner plans? Take home and bake a freshly made Cheese Mountain Pizza. So easy and delicious. Fuel up at your ultimate destination for snacks and meals that hit the spot. Only at Quick Trip.
Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy here. Don't let the chilly weather end your golf season. X-Golf and American Family Field is open all year round. They've got innovative and accurate golf simulators, all overlooking left field at AmFam Field. Enjoy daily lunch specials or have an outing with your friends and take in X-Golf's full bar and food menus. X-Golf AmFam Field is even offering golf lessons by a PGA Pro. Everyone is welcome at X-Golf AmFam. Book your sim today. X-Golf, amfamfield.com. I'll see you out there.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
Whether it's breaking Packers news, breaking Bucks news, or breaking Brewers news, we are Milwaukee's place for the biggest sports stories right when they happen. 94.5 ESPN. It's that time.
Yes, it's finally here.
Craig makes his picks of the week.
You can bet the house on it.
Picks of the week on Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin. Presented by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
Can't wait to see what happens next.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Oh, you know we love Screamin' Sicilian on this show. And right now, at Festival Foods through Tuesday, $4.99 for Screamin' Sicilian core thin and crispy tavern style pizzas. That's right, $4.99. Stock your freezer with a hot deal from Festival Foods now through February 4th from our good friends at Palermo's. You know, I mean, Screamin' Sicilians. I mean, that when you can get a deal on a Screamin' Sicilian like that,
gotta take it.
Gotta grab it. Festival Foods has it through February 4th. All right, so I know we've had a lot of things going on in the show, but does anyone know of any free agent catchers who've been signed in the offseason this year in Major League Baseball?
I know of one.
A free agent, like not someone who was on arbitration.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I don't know of any right now.
The only one I could find was Danny Jansen. You know who that is?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, he signs with the Rays for guaranteed $8.5 million. They signed him. Okay? A catcher who we don't know who he is, who hit like 205 this year, right? Who played for the Blue Jays. He was guaranteed $8.5 million. Do you know what the Brewers just signed their MVP from the last 2 seasons? How much they just signed him for?
Not that much.
The Brewers.
It's like 6.5, right?
It's basically $6 million, and I think they have a $100,000 buyout if they're not going to pay him what he's due next year. So basically, William Contreras is due $6.1 million for a guy who hit like 27 homers, hit 281 in an age where no one hits for average. Back-to-back years, 289 and 281 for the Brewers, 92 runs driven in, did it from the catcher position. I mean, The Brewers are just smart, man, and I don't understand how baseball. This was to avoid arbitration. William Contreras signed this, but incredible deal by the Brewers, and just another reason to be excited about this team moving into 2025.
Not only that, it also included a $12 million option for 2026.
Yeah, exactly. So if they don't do it, they can pay him $100,000, but if not, they have him locked in for $12 million for the guy that 2 years in a row has been voted the most valuable player on the team.
Yep. $18 million over 2 years for that guy.
155 games played this past year. I mean, Kyle, right? That's unbelievable, right?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it is fantastic. Big thanks to everyone who joined us today out in Milwaukee, as well as in Chicago. Yes, where we were here. Charlie helping out here at ESPN Chicago. Big thanks to George Sedano, our mystery guest. Remember, stay healthy, stay together, survive today, thrive tomorrow, don't settle. You have been listening to the revamped, new and improved Sunday Karma. Kyle, send us out.
Peace.
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
For your fellow fanatics and your number one fans, for your game day compatriots and your personal cheerleaders, for all the reasons you smile, get covered with dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. Support your overall health so you can be your best for those who matter to you most. Call Eric Pearson. Eric Pearson, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. The Saganiac Planning Marquette Basketball Greatest Scorers. Tony Smith, he had crazy numbers. In 87 as a freshman, 8 points per game, 8. And yet his senior year, it tripled to 24 a game. Smith's average for many years was the highest single-season scoring average in Marquette history. And he scored 44 against Wisconsin. And 2 weeks later, 43 against Butler. Think. 87 in 2 games, when as a freshman, he scored 234 in an entire season.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, protection and income are the keys to success. Simply put, if you're nearing or in retirement, you can't afford a stock market crash. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game film was a key to success. Now I'm a best-selling author and star in a new groundbreaking documentary film called The Retirement Deception. It unveils how the Wall Street machine has been deceiving us for decades and proves you don't need to risk your nest egg in the market to have the retirement you deserve. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. I want you to watch this film for free. Call today for your free copy of The Retirement Deception. I think you would agree 30 to 40 years of saving for retirement is